scientists are dying to see the whale sharks. Now, let's leave the scientific stuff to the expert. Moving on to the science news.
Thank you, Sam. Today we have Dr. Mark Santiago taking the time out of his busy schedule to discuss with us the current events in Oslo. He is a marine biologist and ichthyologist, meaning he studies marine life such as fishes and sea plants, and is very knowledgeable on the matters of the whale sharks in Oslo. To start off, tell us what happens there now.
Thanks for having me here. What happens there is what they call the migration of whale sharks. The whale sharks travel to different places, looking for the necessary things for their survival. A slope is one of those so-called feeding hotspots, where the whale sharks gather to feed off the abundance of plankton and such. Whale sharks are highly migratory, meaning they don't tend to stay in one place. They're known to migrate across great distances for their necessities, such as food sources and breeding grounds. Since they need the said food sources and breeding grounds, migration becomes necessary for the survival of their species. However, nowadays, their migratory patterns are being affected negatively.
They're being affected negatively.
Yeah.
What could be affecting it?
Well, one of the factors is a slope. A slope truly makes a wonderful tourist spot, as people get to see the whale sharks in the wild, and the locals profit off of this. But this poses a threat to the whale sharks, as they are fed by the fishermen. This greatly affects them, since the food that they are being fed is not as good as the ones in the wild, and their ability to get their own food is greatly reduced. Since a food source is one of the reasons for their migration, now that they are being fed in a slough, they tend to stay in that area. As of 2013, the longest recorded stay of a whale shark is 392 days, by a specimen named Mr. Bean. While this may seem interesting or cool, this shouldn't happen under normal circumstances. This has ruined their migratory patterns. It has affected their future breeding prospects, as they are prevented from fulfilling their biological purpose. Little is known about whale shark production, and any negative effect to their breeding cycle could have very serious circumstances for the survival of their species.
So aside from Oslo, where else can we find these gentle giants?
The world's biggest fish are hungry migrators on a mission. Whale sharks are known to gather at a dozen major feeding locations around the world, from Western Australia and Indonesia to Belize. But between May and September, the waters of Mexico's Quintana Roo state on the northeastern Yucatan Peninsula draw far more animals than other spots around the world. They may attract estimated 800 or more in a given season.
So, Doc, what is your take on the Miss Universe candidates going to Oslo and the petition to stop them from going there and instead just go to another tour spot in the Philippines?
Well, the amount of attention and contact that the whale sharks have been receiving recently has ruined migratory patterns and greatly increased the density of whale sharks in a very localized area. When the candidates visit Oslo, it will attract more attention and tourists. This may greatly affect the whale sharks' behaviors in a bad way. On the petition, I think that this should be approved. I think that the whale sharks deserve to be left alone.
Thank you, Doc, for sharing with us your knowledge on the whale sharks. Back to you, Sam.
Thank you, Emil. This has been Science News Central, and see you all next time.